She goes, "Do you want to sleep in on Saturday or do you want to sleep in on Sunday?" And I was like, "Well, I have to get up and do the stream on Sunday, so
This is
I'll."
only kind of important.
Yeah, I was like, "So I guess I'll sleep in Saturday." And yeah, it was early this morning when he started crying. I was like, "Oh man!" But
I mean, I was up early for the new One Piece information we were getting because Worlds Finals was happening, but
yeah,
and to work on this stream, get everything ready for it. But we are ready with everything here. Welcome to the Grindhouse 3v3 League Season 3 changes. We're going to be going over a lot of things here. You saw some of the topics that we're going to be going over in that startup channel or startup stage or whatever. But I don't really have anything else to say other than I think it's going to be a really good league. I'm really excited for all the changes coming, having to know, getting to know what's kind of coming ahead of time. But let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of things here. Um, we're going to swap over to the PowerPoint we
oh
got presented ready
yes,
for y'all.
yes, and we got the chat up. We'll at the very end of this, we since we've got the stage up, we'll do Q&A also if you guys have questions and stuff. So feel free to type questions in chat, the stream chat,
Mm-hmm.
all the chat. You can text me if you want, if you have my number. If you don't have my number, I'm not giving it to you. And, and let's get started. Let's get started.
Got it.
You want to take this one?
Sure, league personnel. So some of y'all might have seen this one kind of happening already, but we have a few changes to the league personnel. The rules committee, numbers committee, and casting committee are three new committees that we've established to help kind of build out the roster of the Grindhouse, and a lot of people have been included in that. So as far as the rules committee, we added a few people there to help kind of iron things out and keep things flowing. So if you have any questions about like, oh, there's this weird situation that's happening in game, who should I talk to? We now have multiple people in the chain of command you can go to, and we'll be able to answer questions for you. So adding a few people to that, definitely going to make it so that you guys can get questions answered faster. Numbers committee, because they're going to be helping us decide who exactly should be placed where for our 3v3 league. Try and balance out the tiers as much as we can. And that is a collection of players that will never be a org owner, like a GM. We'll get into more about GMs later, but they can never have a vetted interest in putting a player one place or another. They are strictly trying to be objective and place you where you belong. You'll probably find out who they are through Grapevine or whoever. It's not a big deal if you know, but please don't harass these people to be like, oh, I deserve to be in A tier over B tier because I'm built different and I'm him. You might be, but we don't want you harassing those people. Like, they're there to evaluate you objectively and try and balance out the league so you're gonna have the best time possible. But yeah, so that's what the numbers committee is going to be doing, and the casting committee, just an official name for the people that are going to be helping me on sort of the live streaming sort of things. I had pulled out a form, and I have selected two new additional people to kind of come along and help me out, and I'll be reaching out to those people by the end of today. Because really, really talented, really, really excited to be working with them in the future, and I can't wait to introduce you guys to them more later on stream. But I think that's about everything we got for the league personnel updates.
Yeah, I just got a couple of quick adds to these. So the rules committees already technically existed before we just formalized it, right? So
Correct.
we've already got a group of people, they're already there. The numbers committee is brand new. What we did is we used to do the numbers with all of the coaches, and like Darty said, we're just pulling that out so that there's not a vetted interest in putting somebody in a certain tier or other. We want it to be player based. So just trying to basically equalize things and have more people involved, and at the same time also make sure that we're separating kind of that church and state type stuff in here. But yeah, those are all the league personnel changes. So let's move on. Should we move on? Shall we go on?
Yeah, we can keep going.
Let's go. I'll take some of these ones. So we are removing the moniker head coach, and we are going to move to team general managers. that gives some autonomy here. That means that, maybe the GM wants to coach. Maybe the GM wants to bring on a coach. Maybe the GM wants to bring on a team of coaches. Maybe a GM doesn't want to have coaches at all. Maybe they've got some other type of strategy or plan, but we're going to do that. And what this really does is it helps to remove the moniker and expectation that the GM is going to be online and, when they're in the VC, their expectation of coaching. And I think that that's a big one here, because we talked to, all the previous coaches from previous seasons, and that was some of their feedback was, hey, look, I really love that I've got a team and I want to help, but I also want to get on and just play some Rocket League and not be coaching all the time. So we're really just trying to give a little bit of separation there. And again, like we said, give some autonomy to people and how they run their teams. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a coach. That also means that maybe we've got some people that want to be GMs that, maybe not, SSL rank or something like that. So just wanting to do kind of, like I said, provide more autonomy to that. And we're changing the name to general managers for that reason. And speaking of name changes, we're going to roll into team captains no longer being a thing. Last season we really thought we had a great idea of, hey, let's create team captains, and let's have those captains help the division below them and, kind of have that run. Well, I think what we ran into was some of the people that were selected as team captains may have not been starters, but we ran into, if you're the team captain, everyone thought they should start. And so we had a few teams that had some let's call it some disagreements on starting. And what we realized is that maybe that's not the right name for this position. Really what we wanted for this position is to allow teams to have somebody that is scheduling, coordinating scrims, scheduling matches, kind of doing all of the, let's call it administrative work that's needed for each division. And without that moniker of team captain, we don't run into this, let's call it just, ego challenges or ego battles between people on the teams. We're going to leave that up to the GM to assign if they want a team captain, if they want something like that. The difference here is just going to be we're still going to have what we're calling a division assistant, but that doesn't mean that we're going to draft them separately. They're just going to be drafted like any normal player, and anybody can be a division assistant moving forward. The next one is going to be keepers. For any coaches from the previous season that are GMs, they will be able to choose a player from each division that was on their team last season to keep. Now, what I mean by that is, if that player was in C tier last season, the coach, or now GM, is able to keep one player from last season's C tier. Same thing with B tier, A tier, and S tier. What that means is, does not necessarily mean that those players are going to end up in the same tier that they were in. The GMs are going to pick those players before the draft, and they're going to pick those players before they know where those players are placed via the numbers committee. So they are just able to keep somebody that they have from each of their divisions for the following season. This allows there to be some continuity. Again, some feedback that we received from the now GMs was, hey, look, I want to be able to keep some people that I'm teaching how to do this. I don't want to have to train my entire team every single season, the things that I want us to be working on, and that's why we want to have somebody to keep. So, again, if somebody was a GM previously, they're going to be able to keep a player from each division. If it's a new GM, they won't have any keepers that they have until the following season when they play again in the following season. Next one, and this is a big one. We received a lot of player feedback, and a lot of that player feedback was, hey, towards some of the bottom of our division, we have players that are just not able to help us win when we have a backup. So what we decided to do for the sanctity of having higher quality matches, as well as to make sure that there's at least some consistent level of play at the bottom of the tiers, we are implementing a league floor. Here's where the league floor will matter, and so that everybody knows. A lot of people don't know this, but the player population was adjusted back in season 23 of Rocket League. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull player peaks from season 24 and on, and as long as you meet either of these two requirements, where in 3s you've hit 1075 MMR or in 2s you've hit 1128 MMR, you automatically qualify to be able to be in the league. If you're not there yet, guess what? No problem. Go ahead, and you've got the in-houses, you've got scrims, you've got all the things that you need within the server to get to where you need to be so that you can be a part of the league. This is a hard and fast line, and we're going to hold to it. The league numbers committee is going to hold to this as well. These are the thresholds. You guys can all do it. Get there, and we're happy to have you in the league. And then the other piece of this is, like we talked about before, we had a couple of players last season that wanted to play, and we kind of said, hey, we can't put you in the league because you're too good. Well, we're not going to do that. Anybody that wants to play, we're going to let play. So anybody in the server is welcome to register, sign up, and be a part of the league this season. Darty, anything to add here?
Yeah, I think it was like the amount of people that were kept out by the league for was actually a relatively small number.
Yeah.
Was it like less than 10?
We had I pulled last season's teams, everybody that was registered from last season, and we have 10 people, I think, that are from that list that don't meet one of these two requirements, and of those 10, 6 of them are like 3 or 4 games out from hitting this as well. So we really have only 5 players that this like definitely affects, and then everybody else is right there on the cusp. So while we might have some new people that have joined the server and haven't been a part of the league yet, going off of last season, we have 10 people that this affects. So it's not a massive number, it's not a massive cut to anybody. It's just kind of taking out a couple of the lower players from last season, and again, it gives everybody something to work towards to be a part of the league.
But other than that, I think that was pretty much the only thing I wanted to clarify. Or you think you hit everything pretty in stride there?
Sweet. Moving on. I'll let you. I'll let you speak to some of this,
Sure.
or I can take it as well if you want.
I got
this.
Okay. So GMs are added to the draft. So general managers will have to draft them where they should be in their respective tiers decided by the numbers committee. So if you are the top of, like, say if Paco came back and he said he wanted to run an org and he also wants to play in the league, Paco being like 2.1k ish would be like first, let's say he's first seed or whatever in the league. He has to draft himself as his first round pick. He cannot draft a player until what would be the second round. Though, let's say somebody else that would be an S tier, like say Maples wanted to run his own team where he's still good, but let's say we get enough good players that he's pushed to round 2. Maples would draft himself in round 2, and then he could pick from one of the top players for round 1. So we're just kind of balancing out where GMs are relative to everything and trying to reduce the amount of forced picks we had last season. This coupled with the team captains change should make it so that it's easier to draft teams, and teams are more built around kind of like we're about to get into week 1, first round draft picks. So teams a lot of times had troubles when we forced a lot of people to be picked. Teams had troubles to work together and form a lot of cohesion. So what we did this time is we removed the forcing as much as possible and tried to make it similar to last season, because we did receive feedback that week 1, like having an initial draft where you pick one player and then you structure a team around that player or with that player, was a very welcome change, and the GMs did love that. Just wanted a little bit less forced on who that had to be. So first round draft picks, whoever, and this is with respect to where the GMs are added in the draft, will be able to pick and choose players to start their team building around, and then the week after that, we will have the rest of the draft where everybody else will be drafted to one of our teams coming up.
Yeah, and you pretty much touched on the big point here. The big point here is that we are making some changes that we're going to talk about to the league for this coming season. But what we wanted to provide is we want there to be some coordination that happens with that first round draft pick
Mhm.
and the GM to make sure that they are getting as close as they can to a team of people that they want to be playing with. Now, obviously, there's no way to guarantee that somebody lands on a team with you because they could get drafted ahead, and there's nothing you can
Mhm.
do if they get drafted to another team. However, at least the first round pick is going to be able to work with the GM for a week headed into the draft and make sure that the GM and the player have some kind of a strategy on who they want to be on their team, so that there is some some ability to affect that, basically. So
Mhm.
I did have a question on the GMs. Just so everybody knows, the GMs have not been announced yet. We will announce the GMs in a subsequent update.
Yep.
All right, the big stuff, the league enhancements. I'm really happy about all this. We're going to
Mhm.
talk about this for a minute. Everybody, again, if you have questions, feel free to type it in, or again, we will do some Q&A here at the end. So, we are going to significantly reduce the season length. We had a lot of player feedback that came in and was like, "Hey, look, it's too long. We don't have we have too much time to be on a
Mhm.
team together. We need to make this shorter." So what we decided we're going to do is we're only going to have a 6-week season that then rolls into playoffs, and those playoffs will happen immediately. We're going to go to playoffs being the top 4 teams. So what this does is this makes an 8-week season. So we have 8 weeks of
Mhm.
play before we go into another season. Very, very, very short season. And here's a couple of things that here's some problems that this solves. Okay, I know everybody's reading the second line that says no more trades, and that's exactly what this solves for.
Mhm.
You guys are going to join a team. You're going to be a part of a team for 6 weeks. You're going to learn to play with those players. You're going to learn to work around those players. And guess what? Sometimes that's not going to work out. If it doesn't work out, well, guess what? It's only 6 weeks of your life. If you can't be on a team for 6 weeks, then you probably should not join this league. Because we are going to get rid of trades entirely. So the reason that we are again doing that draft in week 1 to allow the players to have that coordination with their GM is to ensure that they get the team that they would like to see for that short 6-week season plus
Mhm.
playoffs. And we're going to do away with trades so that we just get rid of it. What we learned over the course of last season was the trades were causing people to carry disdain for each other, not want to practice together, not want to play together. They couldn't get things to work out. Well, guess what? Now it's only 6 weeks. We don't have to worry about this anymore. So we're just getting rid of it entirely.
Mhm.
We are also changing the way league scoring takes place. Last season, we did a point system where everybody earned their points, and then as they got their points throughout the season, the playoff seeding was determined by total number of points. What we are going to do is get rid of that entirely for the season. We're going to go
Mhm.
to a complete win-loss record. So let's just say, as an example, there's 2 teams in each division that have the same number of wins. If there's not a tie, obviously whoever has the most wins gets the highest seed. But if there is a tie, what we will then look at is how many losses you accrued over the course of the season. So as an example, let's just say in week 1 a team goes 3-2. The next week they go 3-1, and then they go 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. We're going to look at the total number of losses that you accrued over the course of the season to determine who gets
Mhm.
placed ahead of the next team for placements. So we go
Essentially the
straight
game
win loss.
differential.
That's correct. We go straight win loss record, and if we have any ties, we go to the losses entirely to figure that out. If there's still a tie, I obviously we've all experienced Murphy's Law in the league so far,
Mhm.
where it's like, well, this isn't going to happen, and then it does. In the event that there's an actual tie of an even win loss record, we go to the week's actual matchup where those 2 teams played each other to determine who gets to move, who gets the higher seed, or who gets into the playoffs, and that will be determined on who actually won the matchup. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, we've got a process in place. The next thing that we're going to do, and like we do every season, is we're going to update the Constitution to explain all of these things. But part of it is we're also going to update some rules clarifications. There's two very big rules that we're going to implement because of some issues that we ran into last season. So the first one is that we are not going to allow anybody to change servers once the matches have taken place. And what I mean by that is both teams will have to make sure that they agree that the ping is okay. Once the ping is okay, we're going to play on that server. Unless there's a server crash, we're not changing servers. So we had a couple of teams that like changed the server every single match after they played. We're not going to do that, and we're not going to allow that. So we're going to force it. And the reason we're going to force it is just there's no reason to change servers every match. That's silly. We're also going to force that everybody plays on Champions Field unless you're on the stream. It just makes it easy. There's no questions. There's no issues. We don't have people complaining that they couldn't see the ball or that that this particular map was not good for them. We're just going to force Champions Field and keep it simple and keep it easy. We had a couple of issues last season with forfeits where a team believed that they needed to forfeit, or they got a forfeit, or were awarded a forfeit. Unfortunately, the matches got played after that before both teams had agreed that a forfeit was taking place, or that of who was going to win that match before it moved on. So we're going to add in an additional rule for forfeiting. The way that it's going to work is once a team has determined that they have to forfeit, or that the other team has to forfeit, they are going to take their entire team and go back into spectate. The reason that we're going to do this is this creates an actual spot in the replay where we see that the forfeit happened. That way, we have a spot to go and fast forward to in the replay so that we can see if something took place. Now, I want to be very clear on this. If you are not sure if there's a forfeit or not, I would not go into spectate. Because once you go into spectate, the team is basically saying there's a forfeit here and the game and match ends, okay? Both teams must agree on the forfeit before the next match is played. And if there's, for any reason, if there's a disagreement on a forfeit, we must come to the rules committee to make a clarification and choose a win or loss before the rest of the matches are played. And the reason for this is we don't want matches to be played and on the back end go back and revert because somebody had a forfeit that didn't happen. So if you play matches after the forfeit has taken place, you better be sure of the way that the teams know about the way that it is. Because if a match is played, it counts no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. And we can answer some questions about that one as well, guys. No match reschedules. Just this one's really pretty simple. We still allow everybody to play matches early if they need to, but once you have your match scheduled for, let's just say week 3, you cannot play the match in week 4. If a player cannot be available, you're going to have to use your backup, or you're going to have to use somebody from, bring somebody up from a lower division. You cannot play a match a week later, including playoffs, including the championships. The dates are going to be the dates, and we're going to stick to them.
We've gotten a few questions about disconnects mid-games and stuff like that. Do you want to cover that real quick, just to have something?
Yeah. So
it's
this
all coming
is
later, but we'll have the comprehensive rule set out in a bit.
That's correct. Disconnects particularly will be in the Constitution, so that you guys know the way that a player disconnect. The way that we are going to do a player disconnect is if a player disconnects from the match for whatever reason, we will not allow a player substitution. And here's why. The reason that we will not allow a player substitution mid-match is, and I'm not saying anybody's going to do this, so don't take this personally, but like, we can't have somebody that's just having a crash out day and is not playing well decide to just DC and then another player come into play for them. And the reason for that is that, we're playing a competitive league here, and just we don't want there to be any ambiguity that a player was playing bad and they pulled themselves out and put in another player. So if a player disconnects, nobody can take their place until they come back. In the event that a player disconnects and they come back, we still have to play the match as it's playing. So I get it. We have inclement weather sometimes. People have dodgy internet. It's just part of it. So we're just going to have to deal with it. But in the event, like we had a question from last season, in the event that a player were to try to substitute in during a match when somebody disconnects, that's an instant forfeit. Immediately. If a player comes into the play it's a forfeit, and that's the way that we're going to treat it. Those rules will be in the Constitution so that everybody has it. This is going to come on to the GM, and this is also going to come on to, to every player. I know it's a lot of writing. We know that Cool Nerd has all the great info to provide, but the details are there, and it's up to you guys to know the rules and abide by the rules, and know when you need some help. And if you need help, you can reach out to the rules committee for clarification. We're happy to do that, but part of that is you got to know the rules so that way you know when there's a forfeit or when there's not a forfeit.
So just for clarification, you can have your player that disconnects rejoin at any point during the match.
Correct.
But you can't have any subs or any new players join.
That's correct. And the reason that we do that is listen, some people get on and they start playing and they're just having a bad day. What we don't want to allow is a player to come in and have somebody else take their spot. It just creates way too much confusion. It messes up all of the statistics. It messes up the game. Like, whoever you choose to put in has to be a part of that match through the entirety of the match. We can't have a rotation of, oh, this person's not playing well, and or this person, hey, maybe there's a strategy that would come involved of, let's put this player in for 3 minutes of the game and then put somebody else in. It's just it causes too much confusion, and we don't want to have it. So you choose your starting roster for that match to play. You play that match. Once that match is over,
any of those players can rejoin at any point.
That's correct. That is correct. And then again, remember, this is specific to each match, not the series.
Correct.
So if the series goes to 5, you can still play all 4 players. You just can't play the 4th player on the same match that the 3rd player is playing. And yeah, we can take some one-off. If everybody has questions, feel free to reach out to me specifically around that. Like I said, it will be in the Constitution with all of these updates, and when you guys get the Constitution, you'll be able to read through it. And again, come to any of the league committee for information on rulings or anything like that you guys have questions on. In player registration, we are also going to include players' weekly availability, and the reason that we're going to include that is we want to make sure that the GM as well as the first round pick knows what availability that each player has in the league. And the reason for that is to make sure that they're drafting a team that can play together during the week.
It's not a hard concept, but sometimes we find teams that struggle a lot with that.
And especially, look, we love that our server is spread out as much as it is, but going through EU all the way to people that are over in like Hawaii, it's a giant time gap. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that when they draft players, that they have some ability to be able to play during. I mean, look, we can't have an expectation it's an adults only server, and in an adults only server, we all have actual real lives behind what we're doing every day. So we can't have an expectation that everybody's going to be able to play 8 hours a night. That's unrealistic, but you want to make sure that somebody can play a couple of times a week with you and make sure that you have a schedule that matches up. So we're going to include that in player registration. It should hopefully help make things good for everyone. Another quick one, everybody will have access to the League Scrims channel, so that way they can coordinate and schedule scrims even if your division manager is out of the office or not home for whatever reason, vacation, anything like that. Everybody will have access to that. Same thing for match reporting. We'll make sure that all players have access to do match reporting in the event that the division assistant is not available. And again, any player from your team is able to report your matches in that section. We're also adding an all-star game. So here's the way it's going to work. The numbers committee, and as well as the players will be able to nominate players during the season to be a part of the All-Star game. What will happen is that once we have players that have been nominated, we will let the league, the division for that league, vote on who they think are the best 6 players for the All-Star game. At the end of the season, after the championship is over, we're going to do an all-star weekend. We're going to do a best-of-5 match for 6 players from each division and have an all-star game. And we'll determine how we set up teams based on nominations. So number one in votes is going to be like first seed. Number 2 is going to be 2 seed, and we'll split it up just like down the road like that, so that way we have some evenness to teams as well. But yeah, adding an all-star game. What was a lot of word spew? What did I miss, Darty?
Not really seeing too much.
Okay, cool. And like I said, we'll do Q&A here when we're done. So let's move on.
All right, more awards. You want them? More content, more stream availability stuff. So enhanced weekly stats. Some of the things that are coming along are going to be, what was it? I don't remember the specific metrics, but some of the things that I personally am doing, I'm working with the developer of Carl 2 to get you guys more data, more information, and we're going to be integrating that into the 3v3 League dashboard. It's going to be getting a full rework once I can get some stuff into that, but that's pending whenever Linder has time to actually create an export function for me. But that's on the pipeline. And enhanced weekly stats. Some of the other things, we will have scoreboards at the end of each game available for you guys. I know that that's coming for a fact. Other things, MVPs are now going to be voted by the players. So for each tier, you'd be voting for your A tier MVP, B tier MVP, C tier MVP, S tier MVP. It's not just going to be the coaches voting here. So if players know that there's a standout player in their league, they're going to recognize that player. So we wanted to give back to the community and give some of those awards more into their hands than just leaving everything to the coaches.
The coaches will do the nominations.
Yes.
So just as an example, let's say C tier. Each coach will nominate one player from their C tier to be in the MVP
GMs,
votes.
Then,
they're GMs. And then all the players in that tier will be voting on who the MVP is.
Correct. So coaches have the most overhead view about who gets picked, but we want the players to decide who the best is. Then All-Star MVP. So this is going to be, so after we pick all our MVPs, there's going to be one overall MVP. And then how does the, I forget, is this the MVP of the All-Star match?
That's correct. What we'll do is we'll take a look at the best of 5 series that's played, and we'll have the players that played in those matches vote who the All-Star MVP is from those games.
And this is just another way to honor some of the best players, see if we can get some extra value out of their presence, and see if they can provide a little bit extra for the week, for the league. But another thing coming is clip of the week. We're going to be making sure that every week we will have one clip for each tier, I believe it is.
I think what we talked about doing, and then we'll modify this as we go. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is let everybody upload their clips, and if we get enough clips from each division, we'll award a division every week. If we don't, we'll just do a single clip of the week for the week.
Yep, and then the clip of the season will be the most upvoted clip of the week, and we will show off the clip of the week every Sunday. Starting in week 2. That way, start the stream off. Hey, how you guys doing? Here's the clip of the, let's get into it. Here's the clip of last week. Here's our matchups for today. Blah, blah, blah. Get into games. And then, yes, I think clip of the season is going to be getting, are they going to be getting a tag/reward for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Perfect. That's in one of the
We haven't decided the name of that award yet, but that'll all come. That'll come in time.
Clip of the week does come from league matches only.
League match only, that's correct. And you guys will have to upload your clips. We're not going to upload the clips for you. So if you want to be a part of the clip of the week, you need to send in your clip.
Correct.
We need your content. All right, let's move on. Shall we move on?
Yep.
Let's move on.
Okay, let me actually talk about this one as well.
Yeah.
So stream enhancements. Some of the things we brought in is Nightbot to help limit some of the problems that certain actors might invade our chat with, but TwitchBot is going to be taking care of a lot of things. We have some commands available already for you guys. Chat admins, we've got a few. This will be part of the responsibilities of the stream committee. People in chat to be available for more kind of like keeping people settled. Higher level commentary and analysis. This was a hugely requested change, and I was able to bring on 2 people to be able to supplement this issue, and I think they're going to be super great additions, and I'm very excited to be working with them in the near future. Stream matches offset from standard league matches. So this was actually a hugely requested change, as people want to watch the stream, but last season, y'all wanted to like watch the matches, but you had a league match at the same time, so you couldn't. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set your regular matches. If you're not playing on stream, on Saturday. If you have a regular match, you're playing on Saturday. If you're stream match, you're playing on Sunday. And I will be in your DMs telling you, hey, you're playing on Sunday. You're playing at this time slot. If that's good with y'all, let me know. If not, I can move you around, but you are playing Sunday. So Sunday is definitely the most important day, at least for me. And if you guys can make that or can't make that, just be aware that Sunday is my day. That's where I want you the most. Another thing, match MVP guest speakers. We are going to be adding this in. Y'all asked for it. If y'all want to hear somebody slam their chest saying, I'm the best, they're bad at the game, oh yeah, that's something that we want to give to you guys. And I'm gonna have part of the stream team additional help is going to be getting those people ready to be on stream with me and the other caster, and we'll have questions prepared for them, so that we can give y'all just a little bit of extra requests that you guys wanted. But that's pretty much everything from the stream enhancements. That was all feedback generated from you guys, and yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I have to go over for stream enhancements.
Let's move on. Dates. I mean, I don't know that there's too much to cover
here. You're spoiling. You're spoiling me.
Well, let's go back. Wait.
That's you, bro.
Oh no, we gotta go back.
Oh goodness.
There you go. That's what I wanted you to do. No, I was gonna say, why don't we have you just play the video and then we'll go to that stream. We'll go to that one.
Well. Okay, well, I had the reveal, but
You're good. Do it.
There you go. I played the video, bruh. 0 audio for Discord. Yeah, be on Twitch. Give me my give me my views. Give me my views. Give me my views. Give me my analytics.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. We could watch it again. It's really good. I don't mind watching it twice. That way everybody can get on the Twitch real quick to watch. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, you know. Yeah. Better yet, I'll put it in announcements for you guys.
There we go. Perfect. That works. And yeah. Sorry about the spoiler there. I didn't mean to click that.
But yes, now we can go to those dates there.
Yeah. All right. So as you guys see, we will be opening registration today. Surprise!
Yup.
Rock and roll. We'll get it sent out here.
Wow, who
shortly,
could have
so
seen this coming?
Who could have seen it coming? And then as you guys see, we're going to take a couple of weeks to get registrations done before we jump into combines. Then we have draft day 1, followed by draft day 2. Important note on draft day 2, it's on Saturday, not Sunday, because since that's Easter Sunday, nobody's going to be around for Easter. We ran into that last season. So we're going to do Saturday instead of Sunday so everybody can be a part of it. Preseason will be week 1, technically week 1 of the 6 weeks of the league. What does not count is the record, because we're going to have 6 teams, which we already went over. So each team plays each team once. Preseason does not count necessarily for your win-loss record, but it will count for your statistics for awards for the end of the season and superlatives. Season ends on June 1st, and we jump straight into playoffs. We're going to the semifinals on June 8th, followed by the finals on June 15th. A couple people had asked. We are going to have a match place for 3rd and 4th place. So the teams that lose in week 1 of the semifinals will play each other in the finals for 3rd and 4th place. And then obviously we'll have the championships that take place on the stream on the finals on the 15th, followed by All-Star Week on June 22nd. So everybody set your calendars. We have just a little over 3 months, and this whole season will be done and ready to rock and roll. What do you got? What do you got, Darty?
Yeah, so dates looking good. Combines 2 weeks of that. And then we have our first draft date, like we mentioned earlier. Give the players a week to work with their coaches to find their teams, and then we'll go straight into preseason. Like you said, we're just running through this. The preseason, yep, so that we can have every team plays once. But yeah, so this is essentially about what is it, like, overall, this is like 12, 13 weeks in total that we're doing stuff. So it's a similar length as last time, minus like 2 or 3 weeks. We've just kind of condensed some of the fluff weeks here.
Much less fluff, and also it starts now.
It starts now.
Right now.
By right now, I mean whenever Meisner puts up the sign-up form.
I've just got to finish it. As soon as I get it done, I will
It's
post
coming
it
up like today.
It's coming AS.
It starts now.
All right, I think we probably have some time for some Q&A.
Yup.
Did anybody in
now you
the
do
audience...
have to be either on Discord to speak your thoughts. But I will answer questions from the Twitch chat intermittently.
Anybody want to ask a question? Raise your hand in the audience. Oh, we got Mario wants to come on up here.
Oh yeah, baby. What's up? Hey Mario.
Hello. Quick question. So with there only being six teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Is there a chance that there'll be players that won't be drafted? And if that's the case, how can we prevent them from that happening, every single season going forward?
So we are going to do 6 teams, and once we have registration full, we will close registration, and then there will be a wait list, just like we've done previously. The wait list is not necessarily a spot where people can, let's say, pick up players unless somebody quits the league. So the wait list is waiting to be on it, and those people that are on the wait list will be given they will for sure get a spot in the following season if they're on the list, and we'll make sure. Now, we may end up doing more teams down the road for registrations. We're cutting it back to 6 this season. We're going to see where it goes. I think we made a big push at the end of registrations last season to bring in a bunch of people into the server that weren't necessarily community members yet, and we don't want to run into that issue again. So we thought we'd scale back teams, but we'll obviously scale this as the league grows. If we need more teams, we'll add more teams.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
Thank
you for your question.
you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Anybody else, please raise your hand. Nobody else? No
Nobody's
additional
got
questions?
Do
Hey,
we,
man, you
do
know
we
that-
actually do a good time?
I think that means that we just absolutely destroyed it and nailed it, and there's no questions. 'cause I don't see
Franchise
any other questions.
themes. Car, did you watch the promo video? It's monsters like kaiju, like big boys.
Yes, that's correct. Registration is open for
Okay, you
2
couldn't
weeks.
Discord watcher SMH.
Yeah, registration is open for 2 weeks, but if it's full, it's full. So once it's full, it's just waitlist through that period of time. But we do have 2 weeks before we start combines, essentially. So registration will close on March 29th. I assume we don't make it to March 29th before we're full. So
Sick
Anybody
days, you don't get
else?
any sick days. You don't get any PTO.
no PTO. We'll have 96 this season. We had 128 last season. That's correct.
Yep. And Meisner was like scraping to hit that 128, and then we still ended up with teams that didn't have like people at the end of the season. So this is just to make sure that we don't have that again, so that we
Right.
have a full league here.
We want to make sure we have all teams full. We want to make sure that those teams, everybody that is in the divisions that they're playing in, is within playability, so that we don't have some players that aren't able to help their team when somebody's out of the office or out, on vacation, whatever. But we're going to start 6 teams, and we'll scale it depending what's needed. But I think 6 is a pretty solid number that we think we're going to hit. So
I think it's
anybody
pretty
else
solid,
raise your hand?
and, well, again, if it comes down to it where we just have an abundance of players, like more than we expected, we will absolutely add a 7th or even an 8th team. But we're just planning for 6 right now.
Is there any other chat questions? Twitch question?
The big one is Meisner playing.
I'm playing. I
He's in
am
there.
never not playing again. Like, let's be really clear. After midway through last season, 1, the FOMO was just killing me. But 2, this is way too much work to not be a part of it. Like, it's too much. So yeah, I will be playing. And again, the reason that we did not have me play last season was because we wanted to make sure that everybody understood that, as the commissioner, there's no, skin in the game for rulings. Well, that's why we have a rules committee now, so that way if there's a ruling that involves me as an example, I'm out of the decision making process if that happens. So again, that way I can play, because I'm playing.
He's so back.
Yeah, exactly. Nimbus is like, well, we need somebody to complain to. You can still complain to me. That's totally fine. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
he's
good
still the
with it.
commissioner. Like,
You
he's
can, now you
he's
can
still
just complain to
important.
more people. Yeah, you can complain to more people besides me. Like, you can-
diversity.
yeah, we're opening up the floodgates. Now there's 8 of us for you to complain to versus just me. So it's perfect. Yeah. Actually, in fact, I want you to direct all of your complaints to them first. In fact, only come to me when you have a solution to the complaint.
Yes, this is a good question from Felix. If combines are not played, is that going to be a disqualification, or will that be more up to your draft stock with the coaches? I would like to, we're still going to go and do what we did last season, where we want you to play 20 replays, and that's really going to help us decide where you should be. If you don't play those, it's not going to disqualify you, but if we have people that are registered and or waitlist and they do play those 20 games, I'm just saying they're more likely to get picked, maybe fully in, might swap people out if somebody doesn't play anything for us. Like, you have 2 weeks.
What
for
I would
combines.
say is try. We want you to play in the combines. We want to see those matches. If you're on vacation or something, we're not going to be like, hey, you can't be a part of the league because you
Correct.
can't participate. Like, we're not going to kick you out for that reason. But like, you need to do everything in your power to play in the combines.
Yeah. If you have like a 3-4 week vacation, why are you even signing up for the league? That conflicts with that.
If you're on vacation for 4 weeks, that's more than half the season, so you probably
Yeah.
just shouldn't play.
Like
Wait
if
till
you're,
the next season.
if you're
It's
out
only
for a
3
week-
months.
Yeah. If you're out for a week, that's like borderline maybe you shouldn't sign up, but I mean sickness barring everything. But like if you're sick for like 2+ weeks, like good heavens, like go to the hospital.
Rank the rank cutoffs for the league is basically champ 1 div 1 in 3s, champ 1 div 3 in 2s. But the
Yeah.
actual MMR numbers, just so that you have it one more time, is 1075 in 3s, 1128 in 2s.
Dates.
I will put
We'll
that
post
in.
the full dates in the Discord,
Yeah.
and with the announcements. And other than that, we have the everything was revealed on stream. You could go to the YouTube. It will have the instant VOD available for you guys to review. And yeah.
Just a quick question. I have a couple of people that are DMing me about the MMR floor. Look, you can play with anybody that's in the grindhouse that is around your rank to get to this rank. Just what we don't want to see is we don't want to see a player that is in, let's just say, Diamond 1 playing with GCs to get their MMR. If you want to play with somebody that's only a couple of ranks higher than you and they're in the server, absolutely go for it. You do not need to. You don't need to solo queue this. But again, we can't be having. You got to earn the spot. You need to be at this. You got to hold yourself accountable to this. Are you a 1075 threes player? Are you an 1128 twos player? And if you're not, then don't get somebody to pull you up. Play with people in here. You don't have to solo queue. That's just a nightmare. But play with somebody that's around your rank. Don't go get somebody that's significantly better to pull you into the league. Because here's what's going to happen. You're not going to like your experience because the team that you're playing on is not going to treat you very well if they know that you got pushed into the rank. So just do it, earn it. This is a good barometer for you as a player to get up into these ranks. And if you're not here, that's okay. That's what our server's here for. Everybody's here to help make everybody better, and this is something to look forward to when you reach that point. Any other questions? I don't see. All right. I think that's it. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. Registration form will be released ASAP. Dari, are you uploading the teaser video?
Oh, it's already been up.
Oh, see, we're good. I don't have anything else, man. I'm good.
Yep, sweet. Well, if that's everything, we will catch you all. What was it? What was the dates again? Let me pull it up. We will catch you all back here on stream on April 13th for draft day number 1. Well, we might stream some of the combines, bounce around some of that, so you might see us in between, some time in between March 30th and April 13th, but definitely April 13th we'll have draft day number 1 and we'll have all the teams ready for you guys. Expect a team teaser trailer coming at some point soon along with our coaches reveal. We'll have a separate whole video reveal for that. But yeah, if that's everything, we will catch you all later. Peace.
Peace out.